Whoa, I think we got a tough guy over here. Let's see what he has to say.
So ICE has been reported in Seattle, Everett, Mount Vernon, Bellingham, where I live. We're seeing video after video of people just getting straight up kidnapped in the middle of the street. And I want to take this opportunity to remind you that Washington state is an open carry state, and that the Second Amendment isn't just reserved for far-right fascist who fly don't tread on me flags. It's for every American citizen. And when teachers, parents, members of our community, our neighbors are getting kidnapped in broad daylight by a group of masked, unidentified individuals who get out of a vehicle and take them illegally in broad daylight without a warrant, we need to protect them. ICE is already having a rude awakening in North Carolina, forgetting that they are also an open carry state. I, historically speaking, have been very anti-gun and have been very vocal about my disdain for how easy it is to obtain firearms in this country. However, when millions of Americans are terrified to leave their house to go to work, to go to school every single day because they are being terrorized by a terrorist organization who is unregulated and operating without law, we need to protect them.
Wow. Okay. Big tough guy. Big tough guy. He's going to go shoot ICE. Is that what we're hearing? Is that what that guy's saying? The FBI, if they're worth anything, if there's anyone at the FBI, and I don't mean this just to be insulting to the entire department, though I think the department should be literally put down, like completely destroyed. The FBI, not in a physical sense, but like governmentally, legally, don't come for me, okay? Let me be very, very clear here. The FBI is a corrupt organization. I don't think it's something that we can fix. I think it's a tree that is rotten. You cut the tree down. You might plant another one. You might someday down the road decide, maybe there was a legitimate function or purpose of the FBI, but right now, no, guys, we got to get rid. But if there is anybody in the entire department who wants to prove me wrong, go and arrest that guy and throw the book at him. He just went online publicly and said that he wants people to go because it's an open carry. I don't know if this guy understands what any of this means, an open carry state. But anyways, he wants to go and I guess brandish his firearm publicly and walk up and do what? You're going to just stand there holding a rifle and say, hey guys, stop it. Obviously, the clear insinuation here is that Billy B.A. wants you to go and shoot ICE. He wants you to go and kill law enforcement officers who are kidnapping. Oh my gosh, they're like literally kidnapping people off the street. No, these are criminals. They're here illegally. It is a crime in the United States to break into our country illegally. Every single day that they're here, they're committing a crime. It is illegal to stay in the United States as an illegal alien. They're not being abducted. They're not being kidnapped. This is the law. If you went and you broke into a bank, you rob a bank tomorrow, you start like stabbing people, I don't know, you commit any variety of legitimate crime, and then you get arrested, do you have the right to complain, cry, and say, this is absurd, I'm being kidnapped. I'm being unjustly kidnapped and hauled away in a van or something like that. No, you're going to be arrested. That's how the law works. That's how it works for everybody. I don't know if these people think that there's some sort of a special class of illegal alien, like that we cannot enforce the law because somebody's crying, burn the Constitution. Or they say, well, if you arrest these illegal aliens, then their kids are going to not have their mom whenever they come home from school. Yeah, well, if I was 10 and my mom robbed a bank and I came home from school, guess what? She's not going to be there either. We don't just throw out the law because somebody has children. It is tragic, certainly, that an illegal alien would come here and put their children in a very confusing situation. I can sympathize with the child and think, oh my gosh, that would be terrible. How about that being a reason to self-deport? How about that being a reason that you don't stay in a country that you're not supposed to be in? Don't turn it around and blame everybody else in the entire world. But as for the idea that this guy would go and publicly post a video calling for the murder of law enforcement officers, if there is anybody worth anything at the FBI, you need to arrest that guy. I needed to throw him under the bus. I mean, he says he's Antifa. He says all of these kinds of things. And it's funny, by the way, because he's so close to getting it. These people are not very smart. They're not sending their best. He was so close to getting the point. Second Amendment people, right-wingers, folks who have a halfway decent understanding of the Constitution have been saying for years and years and years that the Second Amendment is the only thing that ensures a free population. Now, what he's suggesting we use the Second Amendment for is just killing law enforcement. That's evil. That's awful. That's not protected. That's not, you don't have the right to do that based on the Second Amendment. However, this is a bad application of the promise that was made in the Declaration of Independence, that whenever any government becomes destructive to these ends, it's the right and the duty of the people to either alter or abolish it. The only way that you abolish a tyrannical government, we saw the precedent happen in 1775 and 1776 with the Declaration of Independence. 75 is when the shooting started, but we've seen the precedent. Our founding fathers had literally just done it. They enshrined in the Constitution the Second Amendment to be the final check and balance between a free people and their government. If you're not armed, you're not free. You're living the illusion of freedom so long as your government temporarily allows you to. And they're so close to figuring it out. I used to give the hypothetical over the years. If President Trump is the guy who they claim that he is, evil, horrible dictator, awful guy, and tomorrow he decides to rip up the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, he tells the Supreme Court, you can go home. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. The answer to all of those liberals, what are you going to do? You're going to lay in the street? You're going to be a Tiananmen Square guy, get run over by a tank? We might think, oh, that was pretty brave. You're still going to die. You're still not going to be able to do anything. You're going to write a very strongly worded letter? You're going to tell the tyrant dictator, reincarnation of Adolf Hitler, that he's a meanie and he shouldn't be doing that anymore? You're going to post on Twitter or Blue Sky or whatever it is that you people post on? You think that's going to change anything? No. The actual way that you deter a tyrannical government is with the Second Amendment. That is the only way that you do it. And he's so close. He said, well, normally I hate the Second Amendment. Normally I talk bad about it. But you're almost there, buddy. You're so close. You are almost there to beginning to understand the reason that we have the Second Amendment. Now, that doesn't mean that you get to just go and say, well, I don't like what's happening, so I'm going to shoot everybody. We have to be very careful with these liberals because they don't seem to understand the basics that, hey, you don't get to just declare law enforcement doing their job and repelling a foreign invasion to be a tyrannical government, therefore you get to overturn them or overthrow them violently with use of firearms and stuff like that. But they almost got it. They almost, in a roundabout way, they almost figured out why we care so much about having the Second Amendment. It's a shame that the only way that we can get them to understand this is for them to want to kill federal law enforcement, ICE agents who have done absolutely nothing wrong. But anyways, it's a crazy time we live in. We need these people to be arrested. He's not the only one. If we want to get our country back, if we want to have law and order, you know what to do. Anyways, that's all I got for you today, folks. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all of that stuff. I'll be posting more of these videos. I mean it. And check this out. Today's video is in 4K. So the other ones I had been not doing the settings right. This one should be in 4K. So you got to give me some credit for the effort. Share it with somebody. I'll see y'all next time. God bless.